Hey guys, welcome back. So, if you remember last time we actually got this entire motor torn down. So we were actually just looking at doing a simple refresh on this motor, and then we noticed there was some pitting in one of the cylinders. One of the rings was actually frozen to the cylinder wall. We got that unstuck. It didn't look too bad. We were just going to go ahead and hone it, but we wanted to send it to a machine shop first to have it checked out. Turns out the pitting was a lot worse than we thought. So if you see, it's a lot deeper than this is after it's been honed. So we went ahead and we made the decision to go ahead and have it bored 30 over. New pistons, new rings. Might as well just refresh it all then while we're at it. So we got it back. It was a lot more than we were actually wanting to do to this motor, but in the long run it's going to make this motor last a lot longer because we're actually replacing just about everything on it. So we're actually working on the rings right now. We have these top rings are going to be gapped at about 24 thousandths, and the bottom rings are going to be gapped at about 22 thousandths. So the math behind that is we're not planning on any major power adders right now, but we also don't want to kind of box ourselves in. So the plan is if he decides to put a turbo in here later on, we can manage up to about 15 pounds of boost and we should be just fine. And if he doesn't, well, at least we're not going to have a bunch of blow-by. So we're gapping these ones 24 and 22 thousandths respectively. We already started these. These two are done, and then we're just going to keep working our way around and then switch over to the bottom rings and do this all over again. So this is about the most tedious part of doing this build, but it's worth it. It's going to have a good, nice seal. It's going to have good compression. So this was actually the cylinder that had the rust in it, and as you see, it is absolutely perfect. You know, this guy did an absolutely amazing job on here. This looks great. He hot tanked the block twice, and I mean, it came out perfect. It looks pretty. It's ready for some hot pink or something. I don't know. Leave a comment down below and let us know what color should we paint this, if we paint it at all. So as much as this really isn't budget anymore, it's still a budget build. So we went for a set of 30 over Engine Tech pistons. Right now we're just using this as a ring tool to set them in there flat. You know the drill. And then one last minute addition that we decided on, and I'm sure this is going to be nice, Texas Speed and Performance camshaft. So this is their low lift LS truck cams. So they actually dynoed it on a stock 5.3, and it gave it about 50 additional horsepower to the crank, and I think about an additional 22 Turks. So on the 6.0 it should do a little bit better than that. So this engine's already going to do a lot better than what's already in the El Camino, but the main reason is because it's the camshaft sound. And this one has a nice meaty rumble to it. If for only one reason you ever do a cam, that must be it. So the package came with the cam and a set of 550 lift springs, all for under 400 bucks, which is not a bad deal at all. And this is their stage 2 cam. So it's supposed to be a pretty decent cam from all the reviews I'm reading on it. It's supposed to be easy to tune, and it's supposed to give a really factory idle quality. So the only thing we really have left is to finish out these rings, and then we're going to go ahead and plastic gauge out all the bearings, just the really tedious stuff. And once we're finished, we're going to go ahead and try to get this thing put back together as quick as possible, and hopefully within the next couple weeks we can do a startup on this. For you guys, hopefully it won't be. Hopefully we can roll it into this video. We'll see what kind of timeline we're working with. So we already have a wire harness and unlocked ECUs just sitting on the side right now, so we should have no problem getting this thing running. But don't she look good though? I don't know. Having a hard time wanting to put it back together. I just love staring at it. Ain't she a beaut? All right, so we've been making pretty good progress on the motor. We got just about everything ready to start putting it back together. We did plastic gauge out the main bearings, and everything is within the 1,500 clearance, and they're ready to go back together. So check it out. Got everything cleaned up. It's ready to go back together. We got the pistons already taken care of. So the rings have already been filed. The gaps are set on them. Top ring is at 24 thousandths. Bottom ring is at 20 thousandths. So we have that option to go for a little bit of boost in the future, up to maybe about 15 pounds, but we don't have to run it right now. We don't have to worry about a bunch of blow-by by gapping it a little too high. And we don't have huge plans for this motor to make a ton of power. It's going to be enough for what we're building here, just to keep it naturally aspirated for a little while and maybe a power adder later on. Still got to add the oil rings to them, but that'll only take a few minutes. We are now ready to go ahead and put the crank in, put the cam in, lock everything down. We'll have to check clearance on the rod bearings real quick, but that won't take much. And once we get that all buttoned up, we'll move on to the front, and we'll get the timing gears on, set timing on this, and we should actually be ready to start loading up the lifters and put the heads on after that. Honestly, really close to just making a beeline at this and just finishing it. So we'll see how this one goes. So we got a lot of work done in a very short amount of time. And as you can see, we're practically finished up with this. A lot of work went into it. Knocked it out real quick though. So right now, as it sits, we have it all put together. Everything's ready to go. We are about only a few hours worth of work away from actually starting this thing up. As you can see though, so that's the next step. I'm going to go ahead and start fishing all these wires. Honestly though, this wire harness was ready to go. However, I'm not happy unless I completely destroy things. So I completely de-loomed it, and we're going to do a nice tucked wire harness. We're going to go for under the intake, and that way there's nothing running over the intake, because I just don't like that. It's ugly, and we're not going to do that. So I went ahead and stripped it all out, and we're going to redo it. I'm going to make sure I actually shorten and lengthen every wire as necessary so that there's not big clusters of wire harness. I mean, this is a really simple one. This one only manages the engine. We're running a Turbo 350 behind it, so there's no electronics going to the transmission. We don't have to worry about that. The next video on this engine, we will be firing it up. I have a few things left to throw on here, like some exhaust manifolds. We need to get the coils back on. We need to get the injector rail on. I actually have an interesting thing I'm going to do for the fuel system on here, but you guys will have to wait and see that. And we're just doing this just to run it on the stand. So check out the next video. We will fire this bad boy up. They're going to hear what it sounds like with that Texas Speed and Performance camshaft in there. I am hoping for a really nice deep rumble from this thing, and I think we'll get it. So check us out on the next video. Watch this thing fire up, and don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks, guys.